Hey guys, Fenikzart here again with tgnArt, and today we're going to do a little tutorial. It's going to be a fast one, and basically it's showing you how to actually cut a perfect circle in an object such as a cube. Now this will work on pretty much any surface. Circles and spheres, well, should I say cylindricals and spheres, they're going to be a little bit more harder to pull off simply because you do have to readjust the points yourself. On flat surfaces, it's obviously because it's flat, it's a lot easier. It just basically the calculations are already there and it will come out of a perfect circle. But something that has a curve on it, such as a cylindrical object or a sphere, that will need to be adjusted accordingly. So basically we're going to take our cube, it's just a standard cube, and what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and actually we're going to go to lines, then right click. I'm going to go to knife, I'm going to change it from mode, default will be line, we're going to change it to loop, and basically we're going to highlight the mesh. You see the white line in the middle, and then press shift once. That will basically lock a guide in line, and if you go to the offset and put it to 50, press enter, and then click anywhere else on the mesh. Basically, wherever you specify it with a shift, and then you can adjust it. We want it 50%, which is a perfect equal of what we have. So again, we're going to do it here, 50, and then here, and 50. So basically, what we have is it cut up in every angle. So we got front to back, left to right, up and down. So it's all cut. Now what we need to do is, if we basically add in a hyperNURBS, you'll see that a cube is looking like a spongy cube, but we want it to retain its shape. So the best thing to do is I'm going to press Q, which will disable it and enable. I'm going to disable it, and I basically want to do the same that I've just done. So take my knife tool. Instead I want to go up to the top. Now I want to do this every 5%, so 5%, do it at the bottom. Now this is going to be 95% because we want it 5% each time, and then actually I didn't do the bottom, there we go, but I did do the other side. So 95, and this one should be 5%. Yep. It depends on what side you're actually doing this on. So now we need this way, and it can get a little bit confusing, but what you're aiming for is basically cubes on the end of each corner. So if we do it here, 95. There we go. So if you look at the corners, we've got squares on each of the corner. And now if we press Q, let me just get my selection tool, press Q, you'll see it has now retained its shape. Now if you do want these corners sharper, then basically reduce the amount of spacing between the actual original corner, which is this. The closer it is to the original corner, the harder the crease will be. The further away, obviously the softer the crease will be. But I think that's okay for now. So basically what we need to do now is we need to connect these up. So I'm going to collect my vertices and right click knife, and then I'm going to go to line this time. So I'm only going to do one edge just so you guys can see, and I'm basically going to select the middle and bring it out to the closest vertice, and this will make up triangles. And if you don't know, triangles are really bad for modeling. You want to model in quads, which is a four-sided polygon. N-gons are okay. They're basically made up of 5 or more sides. So if I basically deleted these two here, that'd make an n-gon. But at the minute they've all got 3 sides, 1, 2, and 3. Now if I deleted the middle one, this would have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So that would make a quad. But what we want to do is we want to select the middle vertex, right click, and go to extrude. Now when we extrude it like so, you will see as we extrude it, they actually do become 4-sided polygons. which is what we want. Now, a perfect sphere, the lowest number you can go is 8. Any lower than 8, then your sphere will become crooked. Now you can go as high as you want, but the least amount of number is 8. And as you can see, ours has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides, and that's going to create a perfect sphere, as I said. So now what we have to deal with is basically in the middle we've got we've got a 4-sided polygon in the middle, but then we do have like triangles on each corner, which isn't particularly good. But before we deal with that, let's inset this inside the cube. So I'm going to select basically all of the polygons in the middle. I'm going to right click and go to where is it? Extrude inner. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extrude this in a little bit. Now what this is doing is it's going to create a hard edge for me, because when two polygons are really close and you add a hypernerbs, you will see that it gets a lot sharper. But obviously I need to inset first, so I'm going to go to extrude it in, and again I'm going to extrude it in a little bit so we get a nice hard edge, and then extrude it in again like so. So if I press Q, you will see it's becoming a really hard edge and it's looking pretty cool. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same on the bottom. So I'm going to extrude in again just a tiny bit, because I want this to be a very hard edge, and then I'm going to right click extrude inner and extrude it in a little bit. So if I press Q again, you'll see the bottom now has a very hard edge, which before it was a very soft edge. So what we need to do is go onto our line selection and basically select these 4 inner lines and right click and dissolve. Don't delete them because you delete the actual polygon, dissolve them, because we still want to retain the n-gon, which is this big side here, because obviously it's got 8 sides, it's more than 4, so it's an n-gon. Then what we're going to do is going to grab our vertex tool so we can see our vertices, right click, go to knife, and basically hook these up in a fashion which will make quads, such as going up and down, which is the most common, and left to right. Now when you do this, it will make 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 4-sided polygon, and that's what we need. Now what we're going to do is press Q, and as you can see, if I deselect, you'll see we have a really nice and sharp polygon. Now you see the edges are still a bit jagged, so of course you will have to go up. The higher you go, obviously the smoother it will become. Now obviously this method is basically for detailed polygon modeling, and you do need to be careful, because as you can see this cube has tons of polygons, but you can make proxies and whatnot. So this is what it looks like originally, which is a low polygon version, and that's the only way you can actually model is in low polygon. If you try to model with too many polygons, things become really bumpy and distorted, and you can't really model well. That's why people always model in low polygon, hard hypernerbs, and it does all the calculations for you. So I'd put this up to 4 and basically render it, and I've got GI on. Turn that off. Now press play, and as you can see, a perfect circular insertion into this object. That's really cool. So yeah, and you can make small ones, big ones, whichever ones you want. So I hope this helps you guys, and if you want to see anything specific, please leave a comment. It will really help me basically make tutorials on what you guys actually want to see, instead of me just doing random things and hoping I'm going to hit the nail on the head. So leave a comment, leave a like, leave a favourite, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys.